Ready? Great. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be back here in the Yuma region and especially here in Somerton today. Over the last several months, my administration has worked with state, local, and federal leaders to address issues along our southern border. This morning, I had the opportunity with several folks that are here today to receive a comprehensive briefing and tour of the Yuma Border Patrol Processing Center. Accompanied by the Yuma Sector Deputy Chief Patrol Agent Dustin Cottle, I witnessed firsthand the remarkable work being done by the Border Patrol to effectively manage the flow of migrants crossing our border, and we discussed the progress and challenges encountered by the Yuma sector since the lifting of Title 42. We also discussed how the state and our local communities can continue to support the humane processing and treatment of migrants entering our communities and look for ways to support our local law enforcement's efforts to keep our communities safe. To date, with the coordination and leadership of AZDMA, we have been able to prevent just over 4,900 street releases in our border communities, many of those right here in San Luis, Somerton, and Yuma. This could not have happened without the hard work of our state agencies in coordination with our city and county leaders, as well as our Arizona law enforcement officers. I want to express my gratitude to each of them who day in and day out come into work prepared to serve our state and our border communities, but our work is not done yet. In order to provide ongoing support to local communities and address the specific needs of our border regions, I am pleased to announce grant awards totaling over $25 million to the cities of Somerton, Yuma, Welton, and the Cocopah Indian Tribe from the state's Border Security Fund. This funding will allow these cities to invest in meaningful technological support and ensure they have the tools needed to effectively manage the border. Previously, this type of funding was used for political stunts that didn't effectively help law enforcement do their jobs. Under my administration, working closely with cities and counties, we'll continue to carefully evaluate and identify specific needs of each area and tailor support to meet those needs. For example, in Somerton, the leaders behind me have identified the need to modernize their equipment, including additional fleet vehicles, security cameras, and communication systems. These types of changes will make a real difference, not only allowing law enforcement to do their jobs more effectively, but also keeping communities safe and using taxpayer dollars responsibly. I made a promise to Arizona that I would put politics aside and bring people together to strategically tackle our state's biggest issues. This funding reflects that promise. I'm committed to assisting local law enforcement while also ensuring the humane treatment of migrants in our facilities, and will continue working closely with community organizations and Border Patrol to make that happen. Again, thank you to local law enforcement for your work and for being here today. And now I'm going to hand it off to Somerton Chief of Police, Araceli Juarez, to speak more about the funding.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We have worked hard to identify our specific needs and are excited to be receiving this vital funding. Currently, our department just has one detective. We seek that funding to add to our additional staff who will focus on trafficking, drug cartel, and additional activities. The money will also go forward towards expanding and updating our fleet, allowing our agencies to conduct covert surveillance operations of people, places, and vehicles without discovery. We are grateful for the coordination from the Governor's office to ensure these funds are received and used properly. We will continue to work closely with the Governor's office and are confident in our ability to manage the border. Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to Somerton. I'm Mayor Gerardo Anaya. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the enforcement officers here. Thank you for helping us secure our border. Also, thank you to Governor Hobbs for your leadership and guidance on this issue, ensuring communities like ours are heard and supported. Yuma County has done an excellent job managing the situation. We've had meetings, weekly briefings, daily, and then now as needed. So we've worked together, and the city of Somerton, especially with Regional Center for Board of Health, has been working, and we've worked towards that. That's why this funding is important, and why we continue the collaboration and coordination between the city and the governor's office. And this grant was tailored to the needs of each community, which is great, and I'm excited to see how this investment works in the future.
Well, good afternoon. Will you come up here, Governor? I hate to have the governor behind me when I'm talking, but number one, I want to thank you on behalf of the Arizona Sheriffs. You just met with all of them recently up in Phoenix at your office, and we very much appreciate you taking your time out to not only visit with the border sheriffs, but other sheriffs throughout the state. And I want to thank you and your staff for being engaged with not only law enforcement throughout Arizona, but on the border, and as much so with our fire and EMS, our state partners. The funding that we're going to get, Yuma County partnered together many years ago, late 2000s, to put together a Yuma Regional Communication System. And it was something that we needed down here so we could actually talk to each other, not only fire, EMS, but law enforcement. So if we responded somewhere, no matter where it was, even outside of the county, that we would have a common channel that we could talk one-on-one with. And that includes our tribal partners and our state partners from DPS and throughout the rest of the state. And we were able to build that infrastructure, but now, because of technology moving forward, this funding will allow us to not only upgrade the current YRCS radio system, but also help build upon what we've been working on as far as all along the border. And this partnership is going to allow us to also work with DPS to further that communication ability throughout the rest of the state of Arizona, which is something that's vitally important for anybody that works in fire, EMS, or law enforcement in the state. So I want to thank you personally for doing what you're doing, your level of engagement, not only with the state, but the counties, the cities, and our tribal partners throughout Arizona. Every little bit helps, especially now. So I want to thank you personally for doing what you do. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Chief?
So I also too would like to thank the governor for making border security a priority and recognizing the local impact of investing the resources needed to not only the Yuma region, but the state of Arizona and the country. That is to keep them safe and secure. This generous grant gives public safety the ability to have modern technology in order to stay contemporary and deliver the most up-to-date professional services to our community. For instance, over $3.3 million, as the sheriff said, to the Yuma Regional Communication Center. This is going to help us allow for the upgrades to the center and keep us modernized with upgrades as they come along. The over $2 million that we're going to have for the necessary proper vehicles to deliver humane and quick services to the people that are needed. Over $600,000 for mobile ID units to assist identifying individuals and in an expeditious manner. Over $1.1 million to ensure public safety has the proper mobile communication devices. This grant also includes the ability to purchase autonomous technology, which allows public safety to coordinate and concentrate on humanitarian efforts. We will also have over $400,000 in portable medical kits, which we can able to deliver fast and effective services while waiting for emergency services when the officers run into them where they may be. And again, I'd like to thank the governor, Mayor Douglas, the Yuma City Council, and DEMA for their commitment to the Yuma regional area and ensuring the safety and security of the entire community. Yeah, thank you.
So we have time for a few questions. If you could raise your hand, I'll call on you, and if you could say your name and outlet. KYMA,
Can I ask 2 questions?
go for it.
All right. Hi, Governor Hobbs. Adam with KYMA. I guess I'm curious, with this funding, are you able to say if any of it will go towards money that has already been spent? I know a lot of the local first responders here, like the Somerton Cocopah Fire Department, San Luis Fire Department, has run up costs due to 911 calls to the border. So is any of this money going to go towards funds that have already been spent?
So reimbursement?
Yeah.
That is a great question that we can get back to you with the answer,
Okay.
because I'm not sure if there is reimbursement included in these grants.
And then when we talked, when you were campaigning, you viewed this a lot of the times as a federal issue that the federal government needs to fix. I know a lot of the local lawmakers here also view it as that. I'm just curious if you've had any conversations with the federal government about getting immigration reform done, and there has been other issues too, like the Regional Center for Border Health still is without $300,000 from FEMA. I'm just curious how those efforts have gone since you've taken office.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the issue of immigration be kicked around like a political football for decades, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And so what we're focused on addressing is the pressing needs in front of us right now as the result of the Congress and the federal government's failure to act on immigration reform. And so we've spent our time and focus on meeting with local leaders from day one of my administration to find out what the needs are and how the state can be helpful in addressing what, again, is a federal issue. But we know the needs are here now, and we need to take some action. So.
And is this your second visit to Yuma since you were inaugurated?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
cool.
yeah.
Just wanted to confirm that too. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marely Ruiz, and I'm with Univision Arizona. My question is, we know Yuma does not have the economic situation to actually handle everything that's going on. That's why this grant is coming here. One of the biggest problems as well is not having a shelter for migrants coming here, and it also goes along with the fact that that's why CBP 1 is not working on this border crossing area. Is this money, or will there be another funding eventually to create some type of shelter for migrants here?
So we've been working, again, to address the issue primarily with the lifting of Title 42 and the capacity for folks, and working to decompress the border communities and get folks where they need to go. And so that's been the focus of our efforts. We've been working closely with Yuma and other cities that are getting a lot of those folks in. We've been able to avoid thousands of street releases, and we'll continue to monitor the situation and respond as needed.
Thank you. Anything else?
I'll go again.
One more, and then we'll call it wraps.
Are you, can you just talk about currently what the busing situation is out of Phoenix? Is the state still running those buses to cities on the East Coast where migrants are trying to get to?
We are getting folks as efficiently as possible to their destination, and so we have been busing people primarily out of Yuma and Tucson into the Phoenix area, where there's capacity to temporarily house them until they can get to their final destination. We've also been taking them to transportation hubs, and then again helping them get to their final destination. We have done a few out-of-state buses, but I don't know the total number. We can get back to you with specific numbers on what we've been able to do with that.
Buses from like Phoenix to DC?
I don't, are we? Oh, yeah.
I can,
Yeah.
you can.
We'll
Okay.
follow up with you with the numbers.
What do you just make of the statements a lot of times coming from those mayors that are complaining about the migrants being sent there?
We're getting folks where they want to go, where they have sponsors, where they have support and services. And we're not doing any of this just randomly. We are making sure that we're in contact with the local officials and that these folks have a place to go when they get to the end of their destination.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
If you have other questions, you can